Right. Thank you, my brother, for coming here and hanging out with me. Hopefully these are all right. I'll check them earlier on, so should be all good. But what I was saying to you, brother, about I want to do these more, but life gets in the way. Yeah. And the reason why I wanted you, Daniel, you're kind of new to the martial arts world, and I kind of want to talk to you about how you feeling, what you feeling before, what you're feeling currently, what you're learning about yourself, and whatever. So, like, what made you first come in?
So it's not one specific thing in it. So, first thing first.
Let's have it a tad closer.
When I was a kid, my godfather used to do martial arts.
Okay.
And he was like my hero growing up. And he used to do karate, and we used to watch Jet Li films together. Jackie Chan, and then my godfather, he's less of a martial artist, but he scraps, he fights, right? He used to watch Power Rangers, and you play fight and stuff like that. And I think since young, I always had that interest in how people fight. And then probably, like, my name's Gideon, in it. I always think of myself as a warrior.
Yes, Gideon. Yes.
I always think of myself that way. So again, I've always been interested in that combat. And then, but I wasn't allowed to train martial arts when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Before I practiced on my little brother.
Yeah.
I used to think they were right, but now I don't. Now I think that if I'd learned that, I actually probably would have been less violent growing up as well, because it would have given me a release.
100%. 100%.
I would be afraid that if I did something, my martial arts teacher would beat me up. So there's that respect and stuff.
That's almost the unmentioned part of that, because like anyone who's in the game like myself will be like, oh yeah, it makes you less violent. But you're 100% right there, that because we with Elsie the other day, we went really far up north, didn't we, for one of her fights, and we was at some holiday park, and it was nothing but fighters. And I remember talking to someone who was just working there, and I was like, I bet he was expecting us to go with loads of trouble. It's going to be dead here, mate. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, I did think a bit. I was like, no, it's going to be dead. It's going to be dead. And we was like, yeah, because no one wants to get in trouble with their coach. Yeah, they're good, but at the same time, no one wants to get a phone call. Yeah, and be like, coach, there's I just got a phone call about you.
You know, that's a really good point, because even now, I think that if you were my coach when I was a kid, and my mom was dropping me off at class, and I did something dumb to my brother, I'm sure I would be reported to you, and I'm sure that I would regret.
You regret that. You regret that.
Because it doesn't work.
I've got this thing with some of the kids, like the younger kids who come in, and don't get me, like, they don't know it's kind of tongue in cheek, but to them it's real. That they come in, I'm like, hello, how you doing? Blah, 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 blah. And then I'll go to their parents, doing good. And they'll be like, they do that. And I'll go, and then and they don't know that really it's that. Or sometimes they come in the parents, oh, I've been good tonight, like this week, but I've been good, you know, like, it's nice. It's nice. So it's a real good feeling to see them get a little bit puffed up and all
that. That's it. It's fear, and also a level of respect. And I think, just to go back to your original question of like, what was the final kind of like trigger point? One time I was walking home, and I'm not the tallest guy in the world, right? And I found myself in a situation where a guy crossed the road, and I had my headphones in, and he must have done something like this to me, and I didn't like the way it made me feel. I thought like, if it became something, I wouldn't know what to do. And I realized that also, like, there's a friend of mine, a big guy, he said something to me at a pub. I didn't like what he said, and I didn't stand up for myself, because I was thinking, okay, if it gets there, I don't actually know what to do. So I was like, nah, like, for my own sense of assertiveness, when I'm in a situation, to know that, okay, if it goes to a certain place, I know 1, 2 things that, but even if I don't win the fight, I'm not getting battered. That was when I was like, and also like, I was just with my girlfriend for like 6-ish months. And you know how guys can be protective over their partners. Last thing you want is to be in a situation like that with your girl, and you're there like, oh, I don't know.
I don't know how to do it. Oh, yeah.
So I was like, nah, that's a catalyst. Like, I need to know something. I need to know something. And then, interestingly, I started going to somewhere, you know, like Midway Park. I went to a few sessions there, but I just felt like I didn't have choice, and I like to have lots of options at the start.
Yeah.
So I was walking back from the gym, and I saw the church, and I was like, no way is there. You understand? And I saw the signs on the thing. Like, this is sign from God, isn't it? This is a sign from God. And funnily enough, first time I walked in, told you my name, you're like, Gideon. You know, that's a powerful name, you know.
It is a powerful name.
Yeah, that's the most black response.
Yeah, that was a proper black response. Yeah, I got excited because I was like, "What, Gideon? What?" No, but that was powerful.
I said, that's cool. And actually, so I know you asked me like how am I finding it. Before I get into that, I'm interested in your perspective of what it's been like teaching you.
Ooh. Well, this is kind of why I've used you to get these back on. Okay. I was doing these for a while. Everyone's like, yeah, loving it. Life, busy, work, fight. And, you know, I love everyone that comes into my gym. But, you know, I feel we get along nicely. And I'm like, you know what? I like how he looks at the game. Because, you know, I'll tell you about how I feel with like I believe there's a deeper level of fighting rather than just like the punches and the kicks. And I think if you understand them, you can win most fights. And yeah, it's definitely made me look in. Like I've already been going down that road, but it's very nice to talk with someone about it. Yeah. And the thing about coaching people, there's so many different little nuances to it that makes it so fulfilling. It's I say all the time, I feel like I can't believe I do this as a job. I get to meet people and they're awesome and you get to have love, you see different perspectives of the game.
I don't think it makes you chase people for money.
Yeah.
If I was your finance guy, I'll be honest. But because there's times I've come to session, I'm like, wait, hold on, I didn't pay. And I remember like 2 days later, and I'm like, boom, I'll send it because of my sense of whatever. But I'm sure there are people who forget and then forget. Probably, right?
Probably.
What, you love it so much that you don't notice.
Much you don't notice. Like, I want to get to a level of where the gym's more not just run just on me. That'd be amazing. So I'd be able to come in and do my thing and then go out the door again. But I do also really love being just involved in meeting people because you get to literally see them change. Not in a like with men, it's usually a bit more subtle. Not always. With women, it's quite dramatic. It's quite dramatic. Like, you know, you and me was talking about a while back how if all women were cats and a woman learns how to fight, she ain't a cat no more. She's a puma, and everyone else can notice it. They're like, that ain't a cat. That's a puma walking around over there. That is a really amazing thing to help people with. Yeah, I mean, like things like for yourself, like to help you feel more assertive. Yeah, how long have you been training for?
I started October, not this, just gone. So just like a year and 6 months, 18 months.
How do you feel in yourself? Actually, you know what? I'm going to ask you what I ask a lot of people. I asked someone earlier. If we had a time machine and you went back in time and had a fight with yourself a week before you went in the gym. The smile. The smile's always the same thing. Yeah.
I'm in trouble.
He's in trouble, isn't it?
That guy, he's in trouble.
He's in trouble.
And it's not like I still feel like I'm learning the C major skill. Yeah. Do you understand?
Yeah, like,
basic.
Yeah.
Wow. No, that guy is in trouble.
It's in trouble. It's not a fight.
It's not a fight. And you know what it is, yeah? That guy will be so overwhelmed. by what's happening and the fact that I know what I'm doing. Like, what you know,
You know.
like, like it's not like you're not just like there's a system. You're doing something systematically. I don't know what you're gonna do next, but I know it's gonna be effective. All of a sudden, like whoever that guy was, I wanted to even say that. Whoever that guy was would quit in the fight.
Yeah,
give up in the fight.
Yeah. Join the fight, he'd quit.
He'd quit in the fight. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah.
I love saying that to people. I love asking people, if you went back in time, how would you get on? Because a lot of people haven't really thought about it that way. Because you know what it is? Not my number one thing, but one of my things that I've got to deal with a lot is people who are new to the game and getting better at it, comparing themselves to people who have done it for a long time. Worst of all, me. And then you'd be like, oh, I'm never going to get it. It's like, bruv, you can't really like compare yourself to me. Like I was like, don't take that in any kind of like thingy way. I was like, another thing I usually say to people is, if you could beat me up, would you pay me?
No.
Exactly.
No. Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you go into my gym, you could beat me up, you'd be like, I ain't giving him no money. It's not that. You know what I mean? But people compare themselves to me and they think, oh, I'm not getting nowhere. And I'm like, right, hold on. How long have you trained for that amount of X amount of time? Go back in time and fight you. And they're like, oh, hold on. He don't even know how to throw a jab. He don't know how to sort his feet out. He don't know how to defend a jab, let alone throw a jab.
That boy is in trouble.
He's in trouble,
the guys. But the difference now is, you see, if I'm in that exact same situation, even if I feel fear, I'm like, yeah, but I know what to do.
I know what to do.
Like, unless that guy's got a knife,
and then anyone's got a problem.
Yeah, like he's gonna have a tough time. Like he's not gonna think it was a good idea.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Because like whenever people say, "Oh yeah, what about enough?" Well, anyone's got a problem, mate.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I'm fitter than most. I can run. You know what I mean? You can run. You could outrun your past self. That's what you need to do. Can you be like? Always try to remind people: don't compare yourself to anyone, but compare yourself to the person you was, and be like, "Oh, you know what? I could batter him. It wouldn't be a fight. It wouldn't even be a fight. I wouldn't even actually need to batter him. I could just kind of hold him down and just be like, what are you doing?"
I always think to take someone down, armbar one. Yeah, once they, or even like an American, and once you feel the pressure of that, you're like, okay, there's a problem. Like, problem. And it's so easy to do that, even to big guys that have a rough idea what they're doing. Like, I'm sure I put Timmy in an armbar.
There you go.
And Timmy's good.
Exactly.
I should have fucked around and like put him in a good position.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, there you go. So
exactly, it shows the game. It shows the game.
You know the point you mentioned about comparing yourself to who you were yesterday? I think that's a life thing, though. That's a life.
Oh, 100%. Well, fighting is life, and fighting's made me a better person. And the reason why I think it's made me a better person is because it's so similar to life. They're almost hand in hand. That's why a lot of like high level martial artists tend to be really nice and kind of centered people, because they're working on getting better at life, not just fighting. Because to be a better fighter, you have a better life. You can't just be a better fighter and have a bit of a crazy life. You just can't. You like Sick Note. Yeah, when Sick Note first started with us, he said a few times before, he said he done his first session, heading home, and he used to like a drink and things, and he's like, you know what, I've got to knock all that on the head if I want to keep doing this. So even though you want to do, as people would see from the outside, fighting and violence, but he's made him try to clean his life up. You know what I mean? So I've always felt that there's so many lessons that I've learned from other people in fighting, and then oh, actually that works for life. That works for life, because like before we was living in nice houses and going Asdas, we had to run around. We was animals. So, and that was a fight. Every day would have been a fight. So now, okay, we don't have to fight, but I believe it's really healthy for us. I believe it's really healthy.
Physically fighting, learning to fight physically or
physically.
Yeah. Look, there's so many levels to it, right? So on a physical level, I used to play football as a kid. What you feel in a 5 minute roll, you really feel in a 90 minute match. Like physically, it's super intense, right? And even like when you're doing kickboxing and you're there, you're tired, and somebody trying to fight you, and you need to move, like you get fit. You always like. I think if you did 2 to 3 sessions a week, and you didn't eat like a dickhead, like honestly, and you have to really eat like a dickhead, I think you're in good shape.
Yeah.
Like, straight.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. The second thing is, psychologically, I think it's very, very helpful as well. Because just like the simple act of, I use the same example, you're rolling, right? And you've got your 5 minute round, you switch partners, you're knackered, and it's Josh. And you're like, oh, this is long. Like,
You don't want to do it.
I don't want to do
but
it.
He's there looking at you.
He's there and he wants to roll. And if you turn away, someone's gonna be like, what the fuck are you doing? Roll. But you have to figure it out. You have to figure it out. That's really good. It teaches you to be resilient and to not quit on yourself. And then the second point around like even just like talking from a community perspective, the whole thing, you go back to it, right? Like you have to get humbled in a way. So it works on your character. Because there's no way you're not gonna get humbled. You just
that's what you have to do. When you get into this game, like no one, like I tell people all the time, no one can just fight. No one can just fight. Yeah. You can be a bit fit, or you can be a bit aggressive, but that is it. That is it. And then so in order to learn how to fight, you've got to take your licks. And after you take, like, for a man, them first few 100 times, the first few 100 times, man, difficult. Difficult, bruv. And the thing is, it's so easy to just be like, I would be down, but work has got a bit busy lately. I'll work and I'll get in and then I sat down, and it's and on the real, of course, them things are real, but at the same time,
you can find once a week.
You can find once a week, but it's the scenario you said. You've had a hard round, the clock's ticking, bruv. The time is done. You look round, a good grappler's in front of you, like one of the boys, then, and you're like, there's even numbers. You got to roll. You got to roll, and you can either be like meh and just get laid on for a bit, or you can have a go and then still get laid on anyway. But and the resilience, because the thing is, okay, of course, I'm not saying that people should like fight a submission till it's gone, but you got to fight a submission, and generally when you're fighting a submission, it gets a bit painful or it gets a bit tight, and a lot of them, to be fair, they get tight, and you're out. So you've got to bear that bit of knowing that you're doing the right thing, but it's going to get harder before it gets easier. But you're doing the right thing because you've done this drill and you've got to do this thing, but it's going to get a bit harder before it gets hard. Exactly, bro. And that's when I first, when I first got into it, I tell everyone, one thing I've learned from this game, bro, it's easier to get blood out of a stone than it is to train a friend. Every single person in virtually every single person in my gym was a stranger, and now they're a friend.
But again, like, it's a life thing. Because real talk, if I'm your boy, and you see, okay, I could be good at something, and then you're always trying to tell me do this, do that. Like, you're my friend, you're my teacher. Like, fuck off. Like, and nobody wants to hear that from their friend. But your coach is different because you go there for that advice, and it doesn't mess with the dynamic. So I understand.
And this is before I was a coach. Before I was a coach. Before I was a coach, everything. Oh, it's a bit of ice, but this is like one of them insulated cups. So the ice would just stay icy for long. One of my old students gave it to me.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, it says Thailand. It used to say Thailand on it, but I rubbed it off. Oh yeah, I love it, man. But what was I saying? Like before I was a coach, just when I was into this stuff, just into fighting. Come. But the thing is, all men want to know about fighting. And then when someone says there's a place over there where we can go learn, and everyone starts acting a bit funny, trust me. Yeah. It's the strangest thing.
I'll tell you, I think that's why a lot of guys that learn to fight are insecure. Like the ones that actually go. So I don't know if my story is a common story.
Yeah.
It comes from a place of feeling insecure. And the guys who typically the least likely guy to walk into that gym is the big guy who's well built and on the face of it looks like he can bang anyone up.
He's the one who never stays.
There you go.
The revolving door is always a big muscly dude. It's always a dude who in the pub, like you and me, when we was growing up, see that man over there holding the pint. Oh, he's hard. He went hard. Yeah. He was willing to hit you. Yeah. And then they go to an actual, because the thing is for all men, for them it's even worse, but for all men, when you go into a martial arts gym and you get beat up, that's what's gonna happen. That is a reality shifting moment. Reality shifting moment. And then you walk up the road thinking, I'm actually kind of defenseless. Like, yeah. When you realize that there is humans out there that can do what they want to you,
especially Kai. He's the most unassuming guy you've ever met in your life. He looks like an IT guy, and fucked me up. And I remember when I started rolling with him, who is this? Nobody told me about him, innit? Like I should have got warned. Thinking, who is this guy? I'm gonna wrap him up. And I went to grab his wrist and straight away he put me in an armbar. And I remember thinking, what? He tapped me so many times. I started laughing. What's going on here? I started laughing. And then everyone was like, you're fired. And I was like,
how?
What do you mean? He flipped me in the air. And he's like very lean. He doesn't look
he's like 70 kilos.
Yeah, and I'm just there flying. That one was like, okay, you met a master today. So just like, don't even take that person. Because no,
he's a black belt.
Yeah,
he's a black belt.
Just don't take.
He might not have been when you first met him. He's recently become a black belt, but he was due a black belt for a long time. Yeah. He was due.
That one's fine. The one that got me was Timmy, because I realized Timmy was having mercy on me in the process. So I was doing lots of takedown defenses, and I was like, cool, like he looked good.
Yeah.
I was like, is this it? So I was like, cool. So I said, okay, I said, sit takedown defense. And as I finished the sentence, he grabbed my foot and yanked me. And I was like, whoa, single leg, flying, hit the ground, dragged me across the gym, literally dragged me. For the next 3 minutes, he put it on me. I was thinking, oh my God, like, what the fuck? That day, I remember we actually went to eat.
Up the road.
Yeah. And you were just like, it's okay.
It's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
Like, you got beat up to this fine. You'll be all right. But that day, I remember thinking, man, I'm not.
Oh yeah.
I thought of what I'm doing. And the second time was a couple of weeks ago when we just did straight rolling. It was just boom. And that one, it's not so much the fact that I got beat up. It was that the intensity of it. The because we rolled like we started like an hour and a half.
Yeah. I was up the road at a show when Danny told me, he's like, yeah, I'm coming. I just said, let's roll. And then we just rolled.
No, you were there. You were there. This was yeah. This was like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Potentially, yeah. You were there, and we just rolled for an hour and a half. And what struck me was the intensity of it. It was like physically that was so demanding that I was like, okay. It struck me that like from a like athletic perspective, I'm just not in shape enough to endure that intensity.
Yeah, endure that just the rounds. Yeah.
And I was like, man, because in those moments you see the peak of the mountain.
Yeah.
And you're just like, bloody hell.
Yeah, it's up there.
There it is.
Yeah, it's up there. And I'm like, there's clouds below it. Yeah, and then it's poking up on top of the clouds. And you're like, rah, it's up there. But I'm here. But I feel I remember it, like I still go for it, what am I on about? But I fully remember the first beginnings. Same. Looking at people who I couldn't dream of being anywhere close to their level. Nowhere close. Like they were gods. Yeah, they were gods. I used to look at them and think that dude is a literal god. Yeah, I'll give you some grief now. But yeah, coming up, you just look at people and you just think, I will never get there. I in my wildest dreams, like I never imagined I'd become a coach or a professional fighter. I just done this because it was fun.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Yeah, but a question is, when you get battered, what makes you come back again?
So it don't happen again, and to get better, because this is my wins. You know, wins make you look better than you are, and losses make you look worse than you are. But no matter what, it's just how you look in that moment. You know what I mean? Yeah. And if this is my current state, it needs to be improved. It needs to be improved. Or
when you get better.
Yeah, for me personally, if I get beat up, it's time to get better. The journey is long. The journey is long. That because I've seen a lot of people quit. I've seen a lot of people quit, and for me, it's not right. I'm not one who really cares about other people very much, but I do care how I look to me. Just to me. And I'm not explaining that right. When I'm old, when I'm Dunsville, and I look in the mirror, I want to be able to look in the mirror and be like, you had to go. Like you didn't quit, did you? You didn't quit. I know that fella was too much at that time, and I remember that one, and that was right, that one. But I want to be able to look in the mirror and be cool with the person that is there. Whether the wins, losses, scars up the face, that fella didn't quit. He didn't quit. He kept having a go. No, he tried to get better. And again, on a very, very personal thing, like when it comes to my fighting, I always wanted my opponent to be very good, and I always wanted them to have a good camp. Like, you know, I'd always wish them a good camp and no money problems and no just good stuff. So when we fight, I fight them at their best. Yeah, and then when I do them, they're like, they can't be like, well, I had money problems, didn't I? I had this going on in the background. No, I want you to be like, or even if you beat me, I want you to think, he's an hard night's work. I always used to think, I always wanted to still do, even though I don't compete very often. I always want either to put an opponent off of fighting, full stop. I don't really want. I want him to think, I might quit, or make him think I will never fight him again, or make them think, oh, he's hard night in the office. He is. You know, even if they want the ones who won, I want them to think, oh, that was hard. I won, but that was hard work. Right? And I'm right. You know, I'm very big on the principles of fighting and things like that. And like one of the big things I really like is setups. I love setups, and I love to work and express them kind of things. But bit of a curveball, but Conor McGregor, this is such a curveball. He won his fight against Aldo by using a setup of annoyance. And if you annoy someone and you talk a lot, it's quite likely they're going to use their strong hand and punch you. And because Connor's left-handed, all he wants to do is for you to throw your right hand. So all left-handed people like to counter over the right hand. So when he fought Aldo, and Aldo was like, nah, and ran at him, and he got smacked, and he done something that he's never done in his whole career, and just run at someone. Even though it was an awesome lesson to be learned and everything like that. For me personally, that showed me how you would beat Connor. Just treat it like a normal fight. And anytime anyone has treated it like a normal fight, they've beaten him. Yeah. But anyone who turned it into something more than what it is, they kind of, come unstuck. But the thing is, right, the reason why I'm bringing him up is if I had right curve or right inside the what if draw, if I had won that fight like Connor had, years later, well, I suppose around about these sort of many years later, I'll be thinking, I blagged that.
Because
I never faced the leg kicks. His Aldo's leg kicks are mythical. They were literally mythical.
You want to face someone at their best.
I want to, Aldo, like I followed him his whole career pretty much. And for like 9 years, he was undefeated. And what he would do, majority of his fights are 5-rounders. What he used to do is basically take the first round off. Just have a look, move around a little bit. And towards the end of the round, do a couple of little things. And second, third, fourth round, he'd start kicking the legs. His legs were just fabled. Put Uriah Faber on crutches. It was just amazing leg kicks the man had around him. And Connor has a stance that is built for getting kicked, as we've seen in these last few fights. And so if I put myself in Connor's shoes, okay, that is a brilliant masterclass way to win a fight. You've got to look out for his leg kicks. Well, I'm going to make him not throw any. That's amazing that he managed to do that. Really, hats off. But if I had done that around about now, or maybe in another 10, 15 years, I'd be like, I wish he tried to kick me at least once. Yeah, I mean, I wish.
That's interesting.
I don't. That's a strictly personal thing, though.
Or maybe you're just hyper competitive.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, mate. Because right, how he done that was how you win a war. How Connor did that is how you win a war.
Yeah.
That is how you win a war.
Yeah.
But shout out to Stephen Pressfield. Is that the way of a warrior?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
no, but isn't it? Why wouldn't it be?
Okay,
because
more.
I think. Sorry. I think.
I like and see
there's more than one way to fight.
Yeah, I like and acknowledge and respect what he's done. That it's gangster, but on a personal trip, I don't like it. But I respect and acknowledge it. But I can't help it. I don't like it because you didn't actually face the man. You messed with him.
But he did.
He did. I know. And that's why I respect and acknowledge what you've done, because that's a masterclass in setups. You set it up before the fight. No one else does that. Connor's the only one who really can set up something before a fight.
You know, we'll talk about the principles. That's why the mind is the fourth principle. Because you can't lose there.
No.
And Aldo lost there.
Oh, yeah, he lost that.
Personally, if I could make it such that you could never use your weapon against me, I'm taking that route every single time. And that's because I'm smart. Just say you're dumb.
No.
That's because I'm smart. Look, do I like it? No, but it's practical.
Yeah.
And I like practical shit. I'm like, I would sit down at the end of my career and be like, yeah, they never really touch me. My face is still pretty. I don't have scars. Like we always think about that styles of fighters. If I could master anything, it would be unbelievable technique, like a technician, and the ability to like just nullify your strength. So you can't even do what you're good at. I just want to take that away from you. That to me is like, yeah, the whole like I want to meet you where you're strongest and I don't give a fuck. Like I don't even want you to be able to show that. And to me, that's dominance. That's dominance. It's like, nah, I literally put my foot in your neck.
I like that. No, I like that. What is it's not that I don't want to. I want to meet their strongest weapon. I just want to meet them and do what I still want to do my thing as always, but I want that person to be not affected by anything apart from what I do in this fight. I don't want him to be carrying stuff in there. I think that's probably a better way for me to answer what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because Aldo carried stuff in there, and I didn't like that.
I don't put this.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I'm like.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing what because you knocked Aldo out in like 13 seconds. Yeah, you made Aldo do something he's never done in his whole career, which is run at someone in 13 seconds.
It's the similar thing to Jon Jones and Civil Gun.
And
I'm not saying that Jon Jones did it, right? But
what I felt, what happened in that Jon Jones and Garn fight was, I've seen that before with a boy who fought Damon, my mate. They're up for it. They're up for it. They're up for it. They're walking up to the cage. They're up for it. They get in. Yeah. Everyone's all camera crew and all that. Yeah, everyone's up for it. All right, it's getting a bit quiet in the cage now. Right, it's just it's dead in here now. Clang, click, click. Jon Jones over there.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like to me. It looked like he was up for it until he wasn't up for it. And to me, it felt like in that moment there. But I do feel Jones was the same. I do feel for the first, like I believe myself included, all fighters are a bit nervous when they first start fighting. Yeah. And you need like a bit of time, a bit of contact, or a bit of fainting, or a bit of moving around, or just drink the air in, or lean up. You just need a bit of time just to settle down. And all fighters go for it. And I think what makes Jones really good, he gets that over and done with really quickly. Really quick. Like a lot of fighters need like especially in MMA, they need like 2 minutes, maybe 2.5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes to kind of, you can almost see it happen. You almost see first bit of madness, and it starts to settle down a bit. Do you know what I mean? And they've both gone, oh, okay, I'm in a fight. Yeah, I mean, Jones got over that real quick. And well,
I don't know if he did.
He right. I agree with you. I don't think if he did, but he did say to tackle it. He grabbed him.
Yeah. And come back to like setups, right? Before the fight, what was Jon Jones saying about Civil Gun?
Mate, it's like work. It's a mismatch.
He said he's basically said, I don't consider anything about his grappling game as a problem. Like it's nothing.
Yeah, it's that one for something. Yeah.
Boom. Just like literally, I don't know what impact it had on Civil Gun, but it looks like it had one. So he was like, psychologically, I'm just gonna take something away.
Yeah, you bullied him. Yeah. Jones is a bully. We've talked about this a few times. He's a bully and he plays for keeps. Yeah, I mean he plays for keeps. Jones plays for keeps. He plays for keeps. And I think not merciful, but I think Garn not done well to get out of the fight quickly. Not that he looked for a way out, but he didn't fight for all of his might.
Yes, yeah.
Because it was the moment was like, oh, Jon Jones is on top of me. Oh, Jon Jones, oh, he's really strong. Oh, snap. Oh, it's done. But I do believe if the fight had gone on for longer, especially if it had stayed standing, it wouldn't have been good because Jones plays for keeps. He plays for keeps.
We're injured Gun.
Jones always injures people. Like in a legal manner. You know, I watched a interview with Rampage Jackson about 2 weeks ago. Yeah, he's like, my knee still plays up to this day. Jones plays for keeps, bro. Yeah, he plays for keeps. And to fight Cyril Garn, I know Garn did it. It shows he's on any done shit, but it shows that he's on his mind because Jones is going to do it to me. 100% Jones was going to do it to him. he plays. It's not
It's not
a break.
malicious.
No, it's just he plays for keeps. He plays for keeps. Where other fighters, like, I was talking about this with Damon. I was like, why don't more fighters do that? And he was like, gentleman's agreement, isn't it? The stomp to the knee.
Yeah, I feel like I would do that.
I'll do anything to get on,
Yeah.
mate. Like,
I
it's
feel
just
like I'd do
because
that.
I'm cool with you doing anything to me.
And it's a fight. It's a fight.
This is the deal we've made, yeah?
You know when people talk about Jew goals in FIFA?
Huh?
Okay, basically, a Jew goal in FIFA.
Oh.
And if anybody is Jewish, I apologize. It's not my phrase. So nobody should mess up.
I love this. Damon's in trouble.
It's not my phrase. Like,
Go.
if you're through on goal and you've got a chance to score, or you've got a good angle to shoot from, but you pass it to someone, so they on your team, so they can score like basically an open goal.
Oh, okay.
That's called a due goal, and it's like people don't like that when you play FIFA. But I'm like, it's football.
It's football.
Like I don't personally. I guess it's like a purist thing, right?
Okay.
Of like you want to score good, beautiful goals. You want the goal to be challenging to score.
Okay.
I don't. I want to win.
I want to score the
I
goal.
want to score the goal.
I want to score the goal.
I want to score the goal.
Yeah.
And back to your point of like, I want to face a guy at his best. I want to know that if you beat me, you were able to deal with the fact that I tried to take something from you. So in that setup situation with Aldo and McGregor, I would be like, if I did that and Aldo still beat me, I'd be like, wrong. Hats off to that guy. He's serious because I tried to fuck with him
and he ignored it. Yeah.
That's what would make me feel like I'm okay with the losses. Is that I was up against a hell of an opponent and they could handle it. Or even let's say like somebody's going through a divorce and we had a fight and they still beat me. Like,
right. You're going through your divorce and you find it. Yeah. That's an amazing analogy.
Exactly.
I like that.
And I can't because I guess for myself, what I want is to know that like I can't control my circumstances, but I can control to a large extent like how I react and what I do in certain situations. And I want to know that I chose to persevere when I could. Or do you know what I mean? Like it comes back to like the quitting thing that you mentioned, right? Like I want to know that like if there was a good chance that something would go well, that I could compete or whatever the case was, I gave myself that chance. I enjoyed, I had the character for it. Because I feel like I don't know, like you can't control if you get a divorce, but you can control if you turn up to training. Can't control if I don't know, like let's say your finances, you can to some extent, but those types of things, right? Or even like an opponent might try to fuck with you. You can't control that, but to be like, okay, fine. Let's fight though.
We're still fighting. We're still fighting.
Yeah.
We're still fighting.
That and again, you come back to like the fundamental motivation in martial arts for me. It's the mastery of
oneself.
Yeah. That I can decide how I respond in a situation. Because like okay, someone can beat you up, but
you still got power to be like. That is because that's the thing about learning martial arts. It doesn't make you like impenetrable and like, oh, I can't get beaten. It's you become cool with getting beaten. And once you become cool with getting beaten, you become very difficult to beat.
Yes.
Very difficult.
Yes. You're not afraid of it anymore.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's like whatever, innit? But if someone's afraid of getting beat, they're a walkover. They're easy. They're easy. I'll get people like my number one little hobby is beating up big muscle people. I absolutely love it. Yeah, if someone's big and muscle and they come to the gym, they go like that. I think, oh, here we go. Yeah, I'm all about this. Let's see what's going on because it's not. I don't never hurt them because obviously you don't want no kind of bad reviews, but you see during the session that they realise that I could.
Okay.
And
how did you cope?
how do they cope with that? I should really make a clear distinction. That is what I enjoy. I enjoy watching people go, yeah, and then watch them go, I'm like, and start wrestling with it. All go, wow, if he can, who else could? Because I'm a little fella. I'm 5'10", 5'11", just slim. So there's lots of bigger people in the world than me. So then people go walk down the road and be like, well, that little fella in the weird leggings could beat me up. What now? So that like what I like to do with like newbies, newbies who come to the gym, they go through all of that kind of, and then because essentially the road is long. This is the road. You want to get better, you got to walk along. And actually, that's a good thing. Right. If someone comes to the gym and they've got a bit of weird energy, no, yeah. You don't. You show them the road is long, but what I like to do, I show them the road is long, and then I stand right at the other end of it, like a dot. And I just go, wave on. Yeah, I can even do that during the spa now without hurting them, but you can just show them that the golf is just
huge.
You need a boat, bro. Yeah, you need, or maybe a plane. Like he is way over there. I don't do not I always just show them that the golf is long, and then you just kind of wait. They start walking that path, isn't it? Because if they start walking, right, a lot of them will look and go, just, and they'll walk. But then others will start walking along it, and when they start walking along it, you look at them and you think, maybe I was wrong. So then this is what I never heard. Then I go back down. I kind of stand beside you again, like you. Right, you realise the road is long. Yeah. Road's long, isn't it? Yeah. But with you, I'm next to you, and I'm like, I know a couple of shortcuts.
Okay.
That's the vibe I give to everyone. I try to. Yeah, the road is long. I walk it with you. I've kind of walked it myself. I know a couple of little shortcuts. And if the person's got a bit of a funky energy, you got to walk it on your own, bro. Yeah. Actually, you're cool. You're just acting like a bit of a dick. Because a lot of people, men, come into the gym and they're like dicks in their first session. Yeah, I mean, so you got to kind of just be like, let's just see if this is going to go away.
Get to help people build themselves up.
I love it. 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 I can't. I just want to be better. I just want to be better at it. Just help people be.
You know what's interesting though? Like, it's kind of like therapy, but without all the science.
Yeah. It's. I see people who do all that life coaching and all that, and I think I do that all the time, mate.
But I don't know how to explain it. Like, there's different types of ways to learn, right? So
100%.
Some people are very theoretical and scientific, and like I thrive in those types of environments, right? But I also played sports, and there's shit you can learn from sport that you don't even have to talk about it. It's just like if you're in a football match, you understand what momentum is. When your team is playing well and the opposition are becoming discouraged, you just notice it.
Yeah,
so you can apply that to your life, and you build momentum by running around, like just going for it, like just have to be brave, just go for it, go for it, and eventually, and like have the courage to take an extra touch. Play calm, play like show up, right? Show your skills, and then eventually you're like, okay, these guys know that we're better than them. Today, at least, they know that we're better than them today, at least. So then it becomes a question of how are you going to respond? And then okay, is this a strong team or not? Yeah. Because a strong team needs you. Yeah, the rally. They'll be like, all right, we're having a bit of an awkward one, but it's all good. We're coming back. Exactly. So that's a sports thing. You would talk about, like, I don't know, in psychology, they might, I don't know the equivalent concept, but they'll give you a theoretical way of looking at it. And if you're that way inclined, that's super helpful.
Mm.
But I think for me, the combination of both is really good because I can do this, know that I'm practically learning how to be resilient, but also be able to relate it back to theories around what resilience actually is. So for me, resilience is if I have a really, really, really tough session, how long does it take me to get back on the mat?
Yeah.
That's
100%.
resilience.
100%. And yeah, 100%. 100%. It's because going back to the gym after hard sessions, you don't want to do it. You don't do it. You don't do it.
Tyson said this banging thing. He goes, the reason that I am here today, despite all the crazy shit that I've been through, is because of what fighting taught me, which is that you can't allow yourself to be discouraged.
You can't. Because in fighting, your opponent is doing nothing but trying to discourage you.
Yeah.
Nothing but. Path, have that. You can't hit me. Made you miss. Path. There's nothing but.
Isn't that what fighting is?
Yeah.
It's resistant discouragement.
Yeah, constant.
So
Constant. Because like you go for a sub, you don't get it. You don't go, you just get up and walk off the mat. You just think, oh well. Try again. Try another one. Try this one. Try that one. Yeah, man. It's an amazing thing, and this is why I wanted to have a chat with you, bro, because you're a reminder. Because don't get me wrong, I haven't forgotten, but you do remind me how joyous this life is. Joyous to you know, to do this, you know, high. So I tell you, and like going to competitions with people, I make memories with people. Don't get me wrong, I know people come to the gym and do a bit of martial arts and make memories and they're stronger and all that. But when they compete, especially like any time, but especially like the first few times or their first titles or whatever like that, I know for the rest of their days, they'll always remember that day.
Yeah.
They'll always remember that day. And like, if it's a little bad ending to it, just they'll always remember that day. And like for me, why I always fight, it was for me, you only get two things out of fighting competition: glory or a funny story. That's it. I thought that years ago, and it's always stuck in my head. And I always thought, that's right though. When I'm old, I can sit back with my friends in a comfy chair, a nice drink, and what are we going to talk about? Our glory and our funny stories. So fighting for me is almost foolish not to fight, because if you don't fight, you won't have very many glory and funny stories to tell.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, how do I put this? Friendly challenge, right? This is just one form of fighting. You know, and everybody in their own way is fighting.
Oh, 100%, 100%, 100%.
I think this is probably just the context within which you get, in my opinion, the feedback loop is the shortest.
Yeah.
So you know very quickly if you're doing the right or the wrong thing in this context.
In this context.
In most other contexts, you don't know until the end of the
day. Yeah. You find out there. That was not right. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah. And that's how you learn about subs. Get subbed, don't do that again. Get subbed again. And then after a while, you start to, rather than getting subbed, you're rolling and you see the path. And you're like, if I go down this path, I end up at so I'm not going to go down that path anymore. Yeah, because I used to just bumble down there. I think it was going up. And then you're like, oh, I've been down this. That's it. When you start the forms of recognition. So, yes, there's so many different levels of fun. And again, it's probably where I can't see the wood for the trees, but I'm like, through combative hand-to-hand martial arts, you can take the resilience or the lessons or the mindset into virtually anything else. Because what is harder than or more difficult than facing another human being who's got skills?
Probably stuff like, honestly, stuff like love and relationships.
Ooh, ooh, God, what a curveball, man! Oh, snap!
Probably stuff like that, because I think in this context, all right, you get a black eye.
Let me just dilate my perception. Yeah, I was not ready for this.
You get a black eye. You might get an injury, and you go through all of that. But as a man, like, come on, like, but I have this question, like, I have this question for you, right? So we're doing all this stuff. I'm gonna challenge you, right? So, are you single?
Yes.
So how come?
How come?
Yeah.
I don't put no effort into it.
How come?
I like what I do in the gym, and I don't really think about much else. So it's business and fighting the business. Because again, with my line of work, it's not essentially a kind of job that I can finish teaching. Forget about it. Phone just does not stop when it comes to matching up fights and things like that. So yeah, that's one of the main things. Before I know it, another week, another year, another month has gone by, and fights. So, but I like it.
Yeah, fine. But where's the balance?
Welcome to my library.
Yeah, fine, I get that. But if that's the balance, then that's the balance.
Right? Because I've always been a bit of a loner, and even though my line of work does feel almost performance based, I do feel I've got to put myself out there when I teach. You do get, obviously, you get like a filtered me, a professional me, Chris the coach me, but at the same time, you get me. Everyone gets me. So whenever I get the opportunity, I love being on my own. I love it. That is, and the past relationships I've had over the years, my
It's difficult for women to accept that.
yeah, I'm a loner. I'm a proper loner. Like, and I'm a loner, and it's not that I force myself to be out there when I teach. I love it, but once I stop teaching, I'm back to being a loner again. So, I quite like to be, but like, I love my library. Like, see, when I first moved in here with Savage, my housemate, just walk around the house and this room, I like that room, I like that room, sweet. And come up there and it's like, oh, we'll do this one. And I was like, library. And I've always wanted to, bro. Do you know when we was kids? Yeah. You know, when we was kids, and your friends used to say, hey, when I'm grown up, I'm gonna have a games room, bro. And I'm gonna have like a Super Nintendo or something in my room, yeah. Then I was young and I didn't have the front. I used to think to myself, I wouldn't say it, I used to think, I'm the library. Yeah. And I got a bit more fun. I was like, yeah, I want a library, yeah, with like signed books and shit in there and a fucking chessboard. But yeah, so going back to like what you're actually asking me is I'm so content on my own. So content. If I can just go and teach it, because like I say, I go in a class full of 10, 20 people in there, you can have me. You can have me for a bit. You'll get all of me for a bit. And then afterwards, I'll tell you the best way to notice it. Choose to come to the gym just after I've taught a kids class. You'd be hard pressed to get a word out of me. Serious. To the point of people used to come to the gym after kids class and I'd wander around the shop, have a coffee or just wander around the block or whatever. And they'd be like, you all right? And I'd be like, yeah, because I'm just mentally done. Like,
drained.
I'm drained. I'm cool. I had a great class with the kids, but straight afterwards, I'm not good at talking to people. Straight after I talk, I need a moment.
Are you introverted?
No.
Yeah, that's weird.
No.
That's, like, have you done a personality test?
No, I haven't. But I would say I'm not.
What energizes you? Being with people or being by yourself? Yeah, okay. I see where this is going.
Yeah, it's a bit. I'm a bit of both. Yeah, I'm a bit of both. But yeah, I don't know if I didn't have. When I was just a when I was just a fighter, I was in more relationships. Because all I cared about was all I needed to care about was myself.
Mm.
Next fight, next fight, next fight, next injury, next fight.
Okay.
Where now I genuinely feel as though I've got about 40 to 60 kids, depending on what day of the week it is. And yeah, literally feel like I tell you, I mentioned this a while ago, like I tried to keep my relationships and stuff very separate from the gym and any kind of love life I have, very separate from the gym. The reason, not the reason, but if I was a single father, it'd be a while before someone new in my life met my kids. Mm. And these are all my kids. So yeah, I don't want them to meet someone that might not be there in a bit. So you know what I mean? So that's that. I never thought about this, but yeah, this is how I've been while I've had a gym for the past 6 years or whatever. I've just kind of kept my relationship. Well, don't get me wrong. If you ask me, I'll tell you. But at the same time, I just kind of just, it never really gets asked about. And then that relationship as it's run and it's all hunky dory, but my kids have never noticed. See, my kids have never noticed. And yeah, for someone to come into my life and be that thingy, it would, yeah, they have to meet my kids first. Yeah, and I have to be cool with them meeting my kids first. And yeah, that's all. That's when you ask me, oh yeah, I've got loads of kids. So it's just like before I involve someone in that, I need them to know, are you ready for 60 kids?
What I'm hearing is, you think it would be really demanding for someone, and that makes a lot of sense.
It is demanding. I don't have weekends, like rarely, and if I do have a weekend, I don't want to do nothing. Because I've travelled to Wolverhampton, or I've travelled to Great Yarmouth, or I've travelled to London or Bournemouth or wherever for a show last 3, 4. Like not too long ago, we had fights like for 7 weeks straight, every weekend fighting. And don't get me wrong, like I'm gonna get back home and I'm still gonna be around, but at the same time, you're not. I get in from fights, a weekend of fights. I'm like, you are. I was right. Oh yeah, we all won. But what you got to think when people compete, my serotonin levels are going to go with them. Yeah, I mean my stress levels and all of that. So say you're fighting, right? Get you warm, get you all of this. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you how it went the other week. One of the boys went out there, lost. Yeah, hard fight, didn't get the W. Died. Come back in, and it's literally like he's fighting, and then there's someone else fighting, and then one of my boys straight afterwards. So, like, while one's fighting, the other one's, I've already wrapped them all up, but one's getting warm with one of the other boys. I come back in, getting warm a bit. Now, I come back into the changing room. This is a really hard thing for me that I've had to deal with. I come back into the changing room, and I'm with a boy who's just lost the fight. So I've got to show him I care. But I've got a boy over there who's about to have a fight. And I've got to be for him. So I can't. It's a real balance to be like, yeah, I'll get it, mate. Right, sit there. Right, you ready to go and do this, mate? Yeah, let's go. Yeah. Sometimes I feel I'm being genuine, but I feel a real you know what I mean? Because then right, like I understand what I don't, but I reckon I know what it's like to be a surgeon. I was saying this to sick note. Like, yeah, you work on the person, you cut them open, it's going well, and they die. Shit. Bring the next one in. You've got to move on. You've got to move on. You can't carry that last one into this one. And then say what's happening. That one dies. Because that's what happened the other day. 2 of my boys lost, and 1 of them won. So I've had 2 operations. Both died. Take this next one out there, yeah? Gets it done. Now we're all happy. And we go back and imagine, I've saved this one's life. We go back into the, not ER, the recovery room. And all 3 families are in there.
Yeah.
What do I do? How do I act?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. It's very, very, very difficult. It's very difficult. I try to be kind of like, you got to kind of be almost like deadpan. I can't be too this and too that. I've got family over there that's bouncing off the wall over the moon, waving a belt about, and you've got one over there who got kind of off beat up, and you've got one over there who's just like, oh, almost got it, but didn't quite get it. So then you got 3 levels of, oh, and you've got the people that come with them, they're all different levels of, oh, and then everyone's looking at me. And it's like, oh. And then I'll go home, and then Bert's like, oh, I can go out tomorrow. Are you having a laugh? What? You're gonna walk around some garden centre. Are you having a laugh, mate?
Have you found from experience that walking around the garden centre doesn't help you to rebuild your energy levels?
It don't. It don't. Like it like this is why I've kind of been like, because I recognize it's almost selfish. My requirements are almost selfish because I'm all over the place fighting, and then at the end of it, I don't want to do nothing because 1, I've probably lost my voice. Like you see me today after fights, I'm literally like that, and I've meant it because the thing is, as a coach, when you fight, I fight with you. Yeah. I am literally in there with you. Yeah. You lose, I lose with you. Yeah. You win, I win with you. And then I do that 3, 4, 5, 6 times in a night. Yeah. Because say for you, it's all well and good. You've just had your fight. Yeah. You're drinking at the bar now with the boys. I've got 4 more fights to deal with. And then at the end of it, I go, there's no more sport in the garden centre. You haven't? No, mate. Yeah. I've had 2 boys win and 2 boys lose. So basically, I've had 2 die and 2 get from the edges of death come back. So I'm like, well, not really. I don't want to do nothing. I just want to, yeah. And the thing is, every time I look at my phone, there's promoters asking for the next one.
I get it. What about kids?
Already got 60 of them, mate.
Yeah. Not only that, they're not your kids, right? Like,
they feel like it.
Yeah, but they're not, right?
Yeah.
Because like people go to uni, they may not come back, they may move, they may all of that type of stuff, right? I guess, yeah, I sense that there is a bit of a loner in there, and I get it. Like, I get the explanation. I'm just curious.
It's all good. I like to be asked these questions because it helps me think about it myself because I don't really ask them. Kids. Never been particularly one for kids, personally. And if I had kids, they would hate me until they're in their mid-20s. Because then they'd be like, he's all right, I'm a world champ. You know what I mean? But until that point, they would hate me. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, true. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose. But they won't have actual memories of when he beat me up this time. I remember when he beat me up this time. Oh, true.
literally in the past 6 months, I've been like, okay, I get why you're like that with my dad. In the past 6 months, I'm 29, and I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
it started to make
Yeah,
sense.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
mean, started
They
to
just started.
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, you're right. But like, that's the thing. Having all these students as kids, I feel like I've had kids. I feel like I've had kids, and when don't get me wrong, right? When they go elsewhere, it's almost like they've moved out.
Yeah.
And I've got a couple of lads who moved up and into good things, and I'm like, okay, I might not never see them again, but. He's right. Like Sean, he's a Marine now. I'm like, yeah, he's off doing his Marine thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. And he's good. So that's nice. And don't get me wrong, you've got other boys who quit the game and don't really donate with themselves afterwards. And that's the same as anything, as I'm sure most parents are. They've got a couple of kids that are just fuck ups. And they're like, how's that kid? And you're like, yeah, I'll see him every couple of birthdays. And, so, yeah, I mean, so, right. My own analogy of owning a gym is it's like owning a conveyor belt. Yeah. And people get on the conveyor belt, they go along, and hopefully at the end of it, they pick up some skills. And they get to the end of it and they think that was fun. And they move on. Sometimes they really like it and they go, I'll do that again. And they do it a few times. Sometimes they do it so much they become part of the handle. But at any point, they can use your treadmill for a treadmill. Do you know what I mean? Like the first times, I still feel it, but I'm getting better at it. The first couple of times people have left into places that I believe they've either not made better for themselves or they've virtually stopped. I do get a little bit butthurt. Yeah. I've got to admit. Yeah. And I try my hardest not to show it to them. But there's been a couple who have left over the years. And if you left and you went somewhere good, if you went somewhere that I'd rate, I'll put you on my website. Put plaque on the wall. You know what I mean? Because like I'm only a little gym in Rochester, bruv. If some like my job is as a conveyor belt owner is to get you from rubbish to a lot better. And then hopefully you find another conveyor belt that will take you from a lot better to world class. Maybe I can do it. But at the same time, I recognise I'm just a little gym in Rochester. So if some super gym wants to snatch you up or you want to go to some super gym, off your toddle, mate. You're my son. I want you to do nothing but good things. Nothing but good. And that does not mean with me. That means nothing but good. So if you want to go zoop, wicked. If you don't, oh, it burns. Oh, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And I try my hardest not to be cool with it and to they can go where they want. And this is what I'm like, it feels like being a parent because as a parent, you'd be like, don't do that. And the kid's like, I'm going to do this. And you think, don't do that, bruv. Yeah, I've got mad experience compared to you. Oh, no, well, I think it's a good idea. And then they go and do it. And, and then it turns out you was right. And you're some. So, that's the annoying thing about owning. There's a really, really, really good coach. His name's Kieran Kettle. And I've seen it on his Facebook a while back. I think it was in his old memories or something. And he said, owning a fight gym is like owning a hotel. Some people will stay for a short time. Some people will stay for a long time, but it's never forever. Yeah. And I really like that. Yeah. I really like that. I try. I'm getting better when people don't move on very often, but they do. You know what I mean? And off the top of my head, there's like 2 or maybe 3 that have kind of scum. Oh yeah, and not done anything. And then ones I think of, and I think, oh. And it's not even like come back to me. Do something. Do something. Do something. I don't like. It's not come back to me. I'm not you've got to be with me, and if you ain't with me, nah. I recognise I'm a little fish in the fight game. Like I know a little bit. I'm lucky I've got like black belts coaching. I'm like a good fighter, but that's it. That's it. So if someone goes, oh Chris, I've been snatched up by this gym over here. You go, mate. Yeah, it would be nice if you mentioned me in an interview one day. That'd do. That'd do. You know what I mean? Or while you're coaching, say, oh yeah, I used to train under this fellow, Granite, he was right, he was. That'll do, because it's your kids, isn't it? You just want them to, to do well. So that is almost the annoying thing about being a coach, is people sometimes just go, yeah. And yeah, so a very roundabout way with the kids thing, I feel like I've had kids. I genuinely feel like I've had loads.
It's so interesting. The thing I'm taking off the back of these two questions is, to you, this is 100%. This is the whole thing. Like, this is it.
Yeah, I'm all in.
Yeah.
I'm all in. Like, I have no other chips. Yeah, it's all in. And yeah, I never thought about it, but yeah, I am. Like, I've done martial arts longer than I haven't. Like, first time I went in the gym back 9. I'm 38 now, and so that's what I mean. If you go, what about you? I'm not. I am doing you. I'm doing me. I should say rather. I am doing me. I'm in the gym. I've got fucking loads of kids. You know what I mean? And most of them are doing all right. Some of them are a bit silly. You know what I mean? Some I want to do a bit better. Some are doing a bit of shit. But the vast majority of them, they're all right. Like, I tell you what it is. I ain't even that I'm trying to make loads of champs. I like it when I look at a fighter or a student that's been trained with me for a while, and I think no one's going to mug him off. That's the coolest feeling ever. When you look at someone, yeah, no one's going to mug him off. Like, don't get me wrong, someone could probably still beat him up, but we're in England, so in most things it doesn't devolve into a fight. It's just, can you talk and hold yourself? So it's like, if he can, he will hold himself and talk. So it's like, that's really nice to see, and to feel that you had a little bit of help in that. I mean, it's really cool.
But when you say hold yourself, some people just hold themselves together.
Yeah, they just don't. Like, I know a lot of people who don't do martial arts who fall apart over like an interview or something, or anything. And I'm like, he ain't gonna jump over the table and hit you. He can ask you a couple of questions.
Look, I've been one of those guys, man. I've been one of those guys that fall apart over interviews. Yeah, big time.
How do you feel now?
Funnily enough, I did an interview this week.
Oh, okay.
Or last week, sorry. And it was hard. But I was alright.
Hard in what way?
Yeah, so do you know what I do for a living?
Saying smart.
So,
I'm right though, isn't I?
So I'm a marketing manager. Basically, it means I figure out how the brands I work for do marketing in the UK. In terms of like, what's their price, what's their advertising, what media channels are they in, what products we sell in the UK markets, who the customers are, that kind of stuff. And in those kind of roles, you have to report into like general managers who basically control the finances of the business. It's a high pressure environment. Basically, like, you get grilled. Like, if you're so you get to do a case study. Here's the case study, right? This is your reasoning behind the strategy you put forward. The best way of putting it is like, if you're a head coach, I'm the guy who studies the opponents and says, okay, I think this is the tactics we should use to fight the guy.
Yeah.
And you're there like, yeah, but have you thought about this?
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Brilliant.
That type of stuff.
Okay.
And he knows what he's
They
talking
throw
about.
questions.
He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And he's like, are you sure? Are you sure? Why are you approaching it that way? Okay, I can see from the way you said this, is it in what way does it match up to what you said over here? And he's just pulling it apart in lots of different directions. Bro. But I'm in that situation and I'm there like, okay, but I know how to do this. I know how to do this. I know how to do this. And that's why knowledge is power, right? But so even though you feel the nerves, even though you find it difficult, you don't fall apart.
Yeah,
You figure it out.
I recognise this is a high pressure environment, but I know what I'm on about. I know what I'm saying. I know you're trying to be slick, but no, bro, I ain't having it.
Yeah, here, and I've got a bit about me, so I'm not just gonna be like pushed off, whatever. Like I'm gonna hang in there and figure it out. And I tell you a real story. Probably about this time 10 years ago. Probably around this time 10 years ago. I went for a job at an investment bank when I was in uni for an interview, and I was like, if I got the job, I would have got paid £1,000 a week. And I was 19 and I was in uni.
Oh my god, yeah, we're good. Yeah, we have a super yacht in a few years. Watch.
From a capability perspective, totally capable, no problem. I got to the interview and I thought it was simple mental maths. I couldn't answer the questions. And I'm like an A-star mathematician student, right? And I'm there like, oh shit, I don't know how to do this. My mind went blank. My mind went blank. My mind went blank. It was too big for me. And yeah, it was too big for me. So I understand how people can be in that environment and crumble.
Even though you know exactly what's going on. Take me out of the environment, ask me the same questions. What? Gain and Jones. Gaines had many fights. He's had title fights. But the moment he's in there, he's like, wow, these vibrations are getting heavy, you know. And then mine's just gone, meh. And the next thing I get strangled.
And why I brought this up is what that shows me is you never know if someone's gonna be alright. You never know. But how do I put this? When what you learn in this context is even if that day comes where you mess up at the interview, don't be discouraged. Do you understand that? Do the next interview. And Civil Game is gonna have to go to training.
Go back to the gym.
Yeah,
Get back on the
mat.
mat. He's gonna get back on the mat. He's gonna get on the mat and he's gonna go. Boy, one of them ones really, boy. Yeah, it was fun. Just what are you gonna do, eh? What are you gonna do?
And funnily enough, yeah, like literally 3 or 4 months later, I got another job. They didn't pay anywhere near as much, right? But it was good. And it started off another journey. You know what I mean? And it's like the capacity to persevere. And you say if you're on a match, you're getting better, right? Like the capacity to persevere. Fucking hell, man. And not be discouraged. If you can develop that,
you can do everything. You can do everything. You can. That's why it helps us, and that's why I'm so, like you say, all in.
Yeah, because it's so vivid in this context.
Yeah.
It's so vivid.
Yeah. And
you can't not see it.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's why I was like, wow, do something else. When there's this to be done, for me, it was so. I suppose it's the same way as if you was into any kind of really high stake, because it feels like high stakes poker. I mean, you compete and like the chips of your consciousness. You got to go all in. I mean, you can't keep something in your pocket. You got to go all in. And yeah, man, like people get adrenaline junkies. Yeah, there's no better access to a bit of adrenaline than having a punch up. No better access. And then, yeah, it's a drug. It is a drug. I've got out of fights before and then gone over to the promoter, still sweaty, still got the shorts on. I'm like, I will fight again tonight if you can find someone for me. Yeah. Buzzing. Don't get me wrong. 20 minutes later, I'm like, oh mate, I'm done. Yeah, leave me alone. But in them moments, that drug, run for a brick wall, bruv. Yeah, run for a brick wall. And a lot of people, to a certain degree, haven't really experienced it, or like, yeah, they haven't felt how strong they are capable of being. And like what you said, don't like it that people feel insecure. Well, that's not nice. Like, I've always been into combative sports. So I've always been like, if you don't fight, you've got a problem with me. And if you fight, I'll fight you. So I've always been, for want of a better word, up for it. So I've never really been like, I've never felt like, ugh. Oh, yeah, I mean, fights and all that, like, oh, we're gonna fight in a minute, but I've never been like, oh. And I meet a lot of people who you can see they've kind of carried that with them a while now. Like maybe ones even that you see ones like, oh, you was like that in school, bruv. And then you've come out of school, you've gone to work, and the first day at work, someone's gone, and they've jumped straight on you. And that is really nasty. It just don't look, it just looks miserable. Miserable. Yeah. And I'm not saying that I'm a supremely confident person, but I've competed a lot. So, and I've competed and I've won, I've competed and I've lost, and losing, for me, there's nothing worse than losing. So if I'm not currently losing a fight, everything's pretty good.
It's perspective.
Yeah.
It's perspective. We're having a really interesting, like, this part of the conversation is really interesting because what I'm hearing from you is fighting helps you to put things into perspective.
100%. 100%.
But there are also people who never fight.
Yeah. So they make so everything looks massive to them.
Yeah.
Everything looks huge to them.
And it's easy for a fighter to be like, if you fought, things would look smaller to you. But so many people don't want to fight. And it's like, so many people don't want to fight.
Yeah.
Like it's not interesting to them.
No.
They're like, I'd rather not do that.
But to me, the ones who are mostly like that are the ones who are the most like. And I'm like, I understand you don't want to do this thing, but you don't enjoy this feeling either, and that will get rid of that feeling. And
to some
extent, yeah.
Because if that was true, Mike Tyson wouldn't be Mike Tyson. If you think that he's been a secure guy all his life, he's been highly insecure. Like that's been the common theme for somebody like him, being highly insecure. Jon Jones is highly insecure. Otherwise, he wouldn't be fucking running old ladies over and getting drunk all the time. There's some of the crazy shit he does. I think where you're lucky is you learned this shit when you were a kid.
I don't know, because learning it as a kid is almost like a two-edged sword. Because I learned it with a lot of other kids, and the problem is with learning how to fight as a kid, you turn into a teenager. When you turn into a teenager, as someone who can have a bit of a scrap, your life is completely different than someone as a teenager who doesn't know how to fight. It's completely different. And then you get to a point of, I can carry on living this, or I can go back to the gym. Because when you're a kid in the gym, everyone tells you to shut up and do more push-ups. Yeah, no one ever says nice things to you when you're a kid in the gym. They don't talk about you when you're gone. Yeah, you're over there. When he's there, oh, do this, do that, do that. So when you're in the gym, you're just getting moaned at. You're just getting moaned at, yeah? And then you go out of the gym and you hang out with your mates, and you are top boy.
That's dangerous.
I've got mates who are riding off their reputation from 20 years ago.
But here's a question, or an observation. You didn't stop.
I did, and I went back.
But you went back.
Yeah, that's the thing that got all kids who learn how to fight. They go through the 15 to 17 sort of mark, where the opposite sex comes into it, and just hanging out with your friends, you realize you are a top boy. You just are. And then, well, I've completed life. Completed it. Bruv, at 17, 18, me and my best mate were top boys in our area around here. Me and my best mate, just problems, really. He is just like a fair few kids down the line now, yeah, and all kinds of addictions and running off the reputation from 20 years ago. And he's all right, like living wise and all of that. But if we was in a pub with him and he went to the toilet, one of the boys with us would tell you that he's a good boxer. That was 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago. It's like 25 plus years ago this boy boxed us. So he's not a good boxer. He's not. But that reputation, he rolled it till the wheels fell off. You know what I mean? So it's dangerous. It's because you can do what I did and go, oh, I'm going back. And that was boxing. I strongly believe boxing isn't a martial art. Boxing is not a martial art. And I went back and got into martial arts. Don't get me wrong, I know kids who have done martial arts from young and they've got to that teenage years and they've gone and some have come back and some haven't. So they're both very similar in that respect. The martial art thing doesn't really matter. But you have a choice. You have a choice to go back to, and if you go back to the gym, you can make yourself better and all. Because the thing is, as a kid who learns how to fight, you end up with just a load of weaponry around you. You are just a weapon now, but you don't really know how to control it. Not particularly, yeah. Yeah, man. Like when I was younger into boxing, I thought all problems could be solved with a 1-2. If you give everyone a hammer, everything looks like now. My mate who I was talking about, he hasn't boxed for years. We're in March. I guarantee he's hit at least 4 people in pubs this year. Yeah, mate, there's something like, oh, he's a boxer. So on one end, it's a dangerous thing.
Which is, I understand. It can go both ways.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point. Is that in and of itself, I don't think it necessarily makes people who are insecure more secure.
No, martial arts makes you more you.
Gives you
the power to be you. And until you've got power, you can't be you. You don't know who you are, and you're afraid to be who you are. But once you've got the power to just do what you want, you can just be who you. Carl, I love him, but he's unapologetically himself. I mean, and yeah, and I think of a few other higher level people who are just themselves at all times. It's not. Don't get me wrong. It is. They can beat you up, but because they've been beaten up so much, they can be themselves.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
okay, because they've been beaten up so much.
They can just be themselves.
They're comfortable with them.
Yeah, man. I've been beaten up in front of thousands of people. So I'm up for a little conversation in a pub. I mean, this whole crack a joke about me. Is that the end of the world?
You know, I find this thing so interesting. John Jones said it, right? He's talking about escapes and how he teaches escapes first. Because if you don't know how to escape, you can't be confident. And it's like that's so powerful. It's like the fact that you've been beaten up so much and you were able to endure it. It gives you the confidence in yourself.
You get caught in things like no biggie. No biggie. Like people get on my back and I'm not like, oh no, they're on my back anymore. I used to be, if someone jumped on my back in grappling, I used to virtually shit myself. And something that I moved into after that I got over that is when people would fall back from my legs. If you fall back from my legs back into that, I'd virtually shit myself. Now I'm sorry, right, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to do the other thing. It's just I know what I've got to do to a moderate level, a little bit, I suppose. And once you're safe in, that's what I teach. Defensive striking. Most coaches, striking coaches, are either offensive minded or defensive minded. And I'm a very defensive minded coach. I believe if I'm going to teach you to defend yourself or manage your range well enough, Fight's easy.
Mm.
Fight's easy.
'Cause you know you can cook.
You can cope. No matter what happens, if you can cope with it, you can do your thing.
Listen, that's a life thing.
Mm.
It's a life thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
See? Yeah.
Yeah, but they are, look, I can relate it to football as well, right? So,
Yeah.
if you have a good defense,
Mm.
you attack well
Yeah, you attack well. Yeah.
because
Of
you're
course.
not worried about.
You know,
losing.
yeah, exactly. Well, the boys got it.
Yeah,
The
boys
boys
have got
have
it.
the boys have got it. The boys have got it.
Boys have got it.
Mm.
And so, yeah,
Yeah.
it's quite important.
Yeah. I do not know what kind of human I would be without martial arts. I'd be a completely different human. Like as night and day.
Yeah, even though I've only been doing it for 18 months, I was so scared before I did martial arts. But now, I don't. I'm okay with the fact that I feel that level of
Yeah.
fear.
You're okay with it. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I can see what's going on.
I
Yeah.
can manage.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gets the better of me, but it's not like
Yeah.
it's like, hey, you're doing that thing again. Right, cool.
You're recognizing it.
Yeah,
You're
like,
recognizing
I
it.
need to go to work.
Yeah. I need to.
I've got stuff to do, like,
Mm.
and can coach myself through it a bit better. But again, it's not just martial arts. I've also done other things to help me, but the combination is all pointing back to the same thing of like confidence comes from knowing that you can cope with things. Like if it goes wrong, you're right.
You can sort it out.
Yeah.
That's 100%. I know, like, going back to striking and things like that. I know I'm pretty defensively sound, so I can just kind of like, whatever it goes on, I'll probably be able to sort it out. And at worst, my subconscious will get involved, and that'll probably sort it out. It'll probably do something useful. It's like, oh, all right, yeah, that was Andy. That, push these. So yeah, once the defense is sound, you can move on, and once internals are sound in life. I mean, because what is it in life? Where's the defense? It's having a sense of self and knowing who you are and knowing where you stand on things. Because I remember we was all younger, you're looking at other people to figure out what you wanted in life, and now you know it a little bit, you can express it. But with martial arts, you feel the comfortableness to express it because a lot of people don't. And
You're not so funny, yeah.
Go on.
Keep thinking about my girl.
Mm.
Very shy.
oops,
Yeah, she's a shy person. And she's never done martial arts before.
Mm.
And in the past like week or so, she's been very much like, this is my point of view, this is what I think. And it's sick to see. But it also makes me think like I just have this thing of like everything is a fight. Like everybody has their own fight. It just looks different. So I think for the type of person that wants to do this, they will gain everything you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think for other types of people, their version of martial arts is different.
Yes. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that.
And I think that for people I've seen, it might be like getting a new job, which you absolutely hate
your job. Yeah.
And you're just hanging in there because you
need to pay the bills. Yeah.
You need to pay the bills. So having that courage to be like, do you know what? I don't want this. I'm going to get a new job. Perfect, right? Like, it could be, I don't know, like you want to be a chef, and you're currently something else.
Yeah. Why you do it? Yeah.
Whatever it is, right? Like that thing, and this helps if you're that way inclined. If you're that way inclined, because I think you have to see martial arts. I think I would want to do that.
Yeah.
I think that's important. I think you have to see martial arts and think I would want to do that.
Yes. But what I also say, I've over the years trained people and then they got sank. And
get in the gym. in the first place?
But one, the one I was thinking of top of my head was my mother. I've got I train her, and she, you know, I've always been like the black sheep almost of the family because I've just been fighting, no one else is. And she was always like, don't want to, you know, blah blah blah. And long story short, I got onto the mats. Don't really matter. But yeah, I got her on the mats. She started playing a couple punches, and she's like, "Oh, I like this. Oh, I like this. Oh, I like this." And I realized that, like her and like other people, the vast majority of people who are like, "What you do, never hit a pad."
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I do agree that some people, but I can't say 100%, but I'll say a real, like we're talking like 98% of people who I've ever talked to are that way inclined. I've got them on the pads. They're like, I really like this. And what I think is, we're animals, and we forget.
That's a pad.
Yeah, we forget. Bruv, we go to Morrison's to get a nice bit of beef. Yeah, before that, we used to have to kill stuff. Yeah, we're all predators. Our eyes are on the front of our head. So we used to kill stuff. And that part of us has been, you don't need it. You go Asdas. Yeah. But when you smack a pad or you kick something or you learn how to defend a strangle or something, you're harking back to your ancestry. Yeah. And your body's like, I remember I used to like fight and rev like I'm not complaining, but we live in a super soft part of the world. Mad nerfed. Yeah, it's mad nerfed. And don't get me wrong, I'm not belittling people who with it, but I hear the word anxiety a lot. A lot. Yeah, a lot. Yeah, from people contacting me and blah, blah, from various means. I hear it so much, I'm like, this can't all be medical anxiety. I hear it too much. And that makes me think, is someone in like some mad piece of Africa get anxiety? Like that, he just thinks about what he needs to think about: food, survival, and living his life. And say all them things are kind of covered, but it's still just kind of a little bit precarious, shall we say? That kind of just mental thing doesn't come. I'm sure it's still what it is. I feel if people don't rev their engine, and I'm talking about engine, and whether it's martial arts or playing chess or going for a run or just mentally revving your engine, if you don't rev it, it starts messing about. And it's a supercomputer and you're not using it.
Talk to you about this book, The Chimp Paradox.
Oh, yeah, you said that. I haven't picked that up yet, have I? It's in the list, but I don't think I picked it up yet. But
it's spot on. I think it's spot on.
Yeah, if you don't like I say, I know people always probably think that I always want people doing martial. No, ride bike, fucking write books, play chess, like something to make your engine rev. Yeah, because we're in part of the world where you put, like I didn't have to work for half hour to get some lights on. I didn't rub two sticks together and wait there for 20 minutes or half hour to get these lights going. I do lights on. Wicked. You want a drink? Minor. There you go, drink. You want a piece of food? Minor. I've even got a little magical box that will heat it up. Put in there. Ding! Yeah, look, there goes red up, brother. Yeah. So all of these things, just good times, isn't it? It's just good times. And then I'm not saying that people like I'm not saying you need to do martial arts, but if you don't rev your engine, if you don't rev your engine, it's gonna just start revving itself. And yeah, I hear it so much. I'm just like, right, I don't think sounds like I'm being really thingy. I'm not, but I just feel that if people do more stuff, it's so easy just to go work and come home. So minor to go work and come home. A minor. And once you're an adult, before you know it, your life's gone. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because like when I was little, I used to think adults knew everything. And then you get older and you realise adults are just kids. And we just grew up and we're all just winging it. We're all just winging it. And if you don't want to wing 30, 40 years doing something you don't really like or whatever, or in a few years doing something you don't really like, or kind of sitting and holding pan that you don't like, and then that starts messing with you. It's like, boy, anything to do what I do, even to help the small amount of people that come here. Long may it continue. Long may it continue, just to help people in different ways. Like, yeah, man. What a great start to getting back on the podcast game. What a great start. Gideon, I love you.
You should.
I love you. Yeah. No, but bro, I've been wanting to get you back on, but life, fight, and this and that, and what a great start to get back on. It'll be all uploaded later. Big thanks to everyone. Big thanks to you. Big thanks to this amazing life that we've had. I have nothing else to say apart from whatever you're doing. If you are watching this video, do something that makes you feel good in your soul. Like in your soul. It shouldn't be not financial, not getting one up over someone. Just something that makes you think.
That was nice.
That was nice. People, we love you. I love Gideon. I love my gym. Oh, wrong side. I love my gym. Granite Gym. Come holler. And peace. Let me look goes out this thing.
You get to edit it.
I can